4. Martial Arts Hall. Tian Nan was no stranger to Tian Qiu. In fact, he once regarded him as a brother. Back when Tian Nan was the #1 genius of the Tian family, Tian Qiu would flatter and curry favor with him constantly. But now, everything had changed. Ever since Tian Nan lost his glory and became a good-for-nothing in others' eyes, Tian Qiu dared to stride in arrogantly, his face full of pride and menace. "I'm here for something simple," Tian Qiu said with a sneer. "Hand over 10 body refining pills. Don't bother hiding them. I know you've got some." His lips curled with disdain. "You're a cripple now. Those pills are wasted on you. Better let me make use of them." Tian Nan let out a cold laugh. "And if I refuse?" The arrogance on Tian Qiu's face disappeared, replaced by a chilling, killing intent. "You dare? I possess a yellow rank tier 3 martial spirit. A trash like you doesn't stand a chance against me." With a flash of cold light, he drew his longsword, as if issuing a warning. But Tian Nan remained calm, his icy gaze unwavering. "I've already used up my body refining pills. Now get out." Tian Qiu's patience snapped. He roared and lunged forward, his longsword turning into a streak of cold light as he attempted to humiliate Tian Nan and prove their difference in strength. But Tian Nan's eyes sharpened, and he bellowed like thunder. "Courting death?" A single punch, infused with the strength of body-refining first layer, slammed forward, colliding directly with the sword. Ice Fist, a low-level martial technique, erupted with power. The sword's gleam shattered, the blade was knocked aside, and its chilling aura extinguished. "Ah!" Tian Qiu screamed in agony. His face turned pale as his body trembled. Horror filled his eyes. You broke through to body refining first layer?" Tian Nan's gaze was ice. "Now tell me, who's the cripple?" Tian Qiu, trembling in fear, didn't dare stay another second. Clutching his chest, he stumbled out of the courtyard in a pathetic mess. For a moment, Tian Nan stood silently, his expression slowly calming. He muttered to himself, "Ingrates like Tian Qiu, if he dares to come again, I won't hold back." His eyes swept over the ruined courtyard, and he sighed softly. "I can't continue training here today. It's better to head to the Martial Arts Hall." Tian Nan strode towards the Martial Arts Hall, the Tian family's forbidden ground. Only those who had reached body-refining first layer were permitted to enter the second floor, where intermediate-level martial techniques were kept. Upon arriving, he was greeted by Elder Ying, the gatekeeper. The old man's eyes widened in surprise. "Tian Nan? You want to enter the second floor?" Tian Nan said nothing. Instead, he placed his hand on the wooden table, leaving behind a deep 5-finger imprint. Elder Ying's eyes widened further in shock. You've broken through?" Without another word, Tian Nan walked straight into the second floor of the Martial Arts Hall. The air inside was thick with an ancient aura, and scrolls of martial techniques were neatly arranged on shelves. Before he could begin choosing, a mocking voice sounded behind him. "Tian Nan, you're here too?" He turned to see Tian Yu, Tian Qiu's elder brother, and a true prodigy, possessing a yellow rank tier 4 martial spirit. Tian Yu smirked. "I didn't expect a cripple like you to make it to the second floor. I suppose the 10 body refining pills the Patriarch rewarded you weren't wasted after all." Tian Nan replied coolly, "That's right. They worked wonders. In fact, I just used that strength to give your little brother a lesson." Hearing this, Tian Yu's smirk froze instantly.
5. Thunderblade Technique. Tian Nan had never harbored any ill will toward Tian Yu, but the moment they met, Tian Yu's mocking and sarcastic words left him no reason to show restraint. "You struck my younger brother?" Tian Yu's expression darkened as he questioned. "That's right," Tian Nan replied coolly. "Your brother shamelessly tried to steal my pills. I merely taught him a lesson. A cripple like you hoarding pills, letting my brother use them would be far less of a waste," Tian Yu snapped in anger. Tian Nan let out a cold laugh. "You and your brother are cut from the same cloth, shameless and repulsive." You... Fury surged through Tian Yu as he activated his martial spirit ready to attack. But before he could act, Elder Ying's icy voice echoed through the hall. "The Martial Arts Hall forbids fighting. Break this rule and you'll never set foot in here again." The warning hit Tian Yu like a bucket of cold water. He gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with venom. "The next time we meet, I'll cripple you." "I look forward to it," Tian Nan replied flatly, his calm tone making Tian Yu tremble with rage before storming out. Unbothered, Tian Nan turned back to the shelves and continued browsing martial techniques. He flipped through several scrolls before his eyes landed on one titled Thunderblade Technique. A blade strike like rolling thunder, swift as lightning. The description perfectly matched his desire for a fast and forceful fighting style. With a decisive nod, he took the scroll and left the martial arts hall. When he returned home, he saw the main gate had already been repaired. Stepping into the courtyard, he was surprised to find a dignified middle-aged man waiting for him. It was none other than Tian, the patriarch of the Tian family, and his father. "You've broken through to body refining first layer?" Tian asked, his eyes glinting with surprise. "Yes," Tian Nan replied calmly. "Thanks to the pills you gave me, father." Tian's face broke into a satisfied smile, though a trace of doubt lingered in his eyes at Tian Nan's astonishing speed of progress. He said in a steady voice, "If anyone dares trouble you again, come to me. You are my son. No one in this family has the right to humiliate you." "Father, there is something I wish to ask of you." Tian Nan's expression turned solemn. "I need 100 body-refining pills. If possible, 200 or even 500 would be better." The request sent a shockwave through Tian's heart. 500 pills? That was nearly the cultivation resources for the entire Tian family for a month. But looking into his son's resolute eyes, Tian couldn't help but smile. "Very well."
Dragon Tiger Mountain Range. In the following days, Tian Nan immersed himself completely in cultivation. Behind him, the war god spirit hovered, drawing in torrents of spiritual energy from heaven and earth. With each breath he took, the energy flowed into his body like twin serpents. Once the war god spirit advanced to grade 7 of the yellow rank, his cultivation speed doubled. Even so, it still took Tian Nan 3 full days to break through and reach the second level of the body refining realm. The body refining realm has 10 levels. With each breakthrough, the body is further strengthened. But the higher one climbs, the harder it becomes. The amount of spiritual energy required increases significantly. He murmured to himself, "Even with this powerful war god spirit, I cannot relax. I must keep pushing forward." With determined eyes, Tian Nan dove back into his training. Despite having such a formidable martial spirit, his current cultivation level was still far too low. Meanwhile, in the Tian clan's council hall, tension ran thick. Patriarch Tian, draped in a purple fur cloak, sat at the head seat, his imposing presence radiating pressure. Below him sat 3 elders. The one at the center wore golden robes, his complexion ruddy and confident, completely unfazed by Tian's aura. Since entering the hall, this man hadn't even glanced Tian's way. This man was Tian Ba,
the Grand Elder and father of Tian Qiu. Beside him sat the second and third elders, both powerful figures within the clan. They watched the scene quietly, their eyes flickering between Tian Nan and Tian Qiu. Ever since Tian Qiu awakened his martial spirit, the divide between the Grand Elder and the Patriarch had become open and irreconcilable. "I wonder what matter the Patriarch has summoned us for today?" Tian Qiu asked coldly, sipping tea. The other elders exchanged confused looks. It wasn't time for a formal clan meeting yet. "If the Grand Elder is asking, I'll speak plainly," Tian Nan said flatly. "I've gathered you all to inform you that in my capacity as Patriarch, I've decided to allocate 1,000 body refining pills to Tian Nan for his cultivation." The moment he finished speaking, the hall erupted like thunder had struck. Tian Qiu choked on his tea and roared, "What? Tian Nan, have you gone mad? You want to give 1,000 pills to that worthless cripple?" Shock appeared on the faces of the second and third elders. 1,000 body refining pills was an enormous amount, enough to supply all clan disciples for 5 months. Unfazed, Tian Nan replied, "If 1,000 is too much, then 500. I've already compromised. Shouldn't you meet me halfway?" "Compromise!" Tian Qiu bellowed. "Even my own son only gets 10 pills a month, and you want to hand 500 to your useless son? Keep dreaming!" The second elder quickly chimed in. "Patriarch, this is out of question. We said nothing when you gave Tian Nan 10 pills last time, but 500 is outrageous. It would drain the clan's reserves." The third elder nodded in agreement, unwilling to stay neutral any longer. Tian Nan's expression remained cold and firm. "I didn't call you here to negotiate. I've made my decision. From now on, I will give up my monthly share of pills to offset the cost." As Patriarch, Tian Nan received 15 body refining pills per month. Over time, this would indeed cover the cost of 500 pills, perhaps even more. He was clearly willing to sacrifice for his son. "No, absolutely not! That cripple won't get a single pill!" Tian Qiu snapped. He had planned to secure a large amount of pills for Tian Qiu. If Tian Nan got 500, what would be left? But before he could finish his outburst, a thunderous voice boomed through the hall. "That's final! Leave now!"
Tian Nan's innate might as a cultivator at the innate realm surged outward, shaking the entire room. Tian Qiu's face went pale, his body trembling involuntarily. Even the second and third elders couldn't help but show fear. Tian Nan was still the strongest in the Tian clan, the only one in the innate realm. Back in his secluded training, Tian Nan remained unaware of the clan's political storm. His focus was fully on cultivation. The human body consists of skin, muscles, bones, organs, and blood. Even though the body refining realm enhances the body overall, the training process must proceed step by step, he thought. My skin is already hardened. Now it's time to temper my bones. Since awakening the war god spirit, Tian Nan felt as though fate had shifted. Even his thinking had become clearer, more agile. Complicated concepts now seemed simple and intuitive, though he hadn't yet realized this change in himself. He guided the spiritual energy through his body, sending it deep into his bones. Every circuit depleted some of the energy as it merged with his marrow. After circulating the energy through every bone, a soft internal explosion echoed, another sign of his body becoming stronger. 3 days passed in this meditative state. Tian Nan had entered a trance-like flow, repeating the spiritual circulation endlessly. Suddenly he trembled. A surge of power erupted from within. His eyes snapped open as crackling sounds filled the air. An invisible force burst from his body, clearing the dust around him. "Third-level body refining," he exclaimed joyfully. He could feel the overwhelming strength coursing through him. Days of dedicated training had clearly paid off.
Yet he didn't realize that if word got out about him breaking through to the 3rd level in just a few days, countless people would cough blood in disbelief. His cultivation speed was simply monstrous. A grade 7 yellow rank martial spirit was no joke. Whew. If Father promised, he'll definitely secure those 500 pills for me. But it might take time. In the meantime, he paused in thought. Though unaware of the drama in the council hall, he could sense there might be complications. Improving my cultivation isn't enough. I need to master my martial techniques too, or I'll never reach full combat potential. Since that's the case, I'll head to Dragon Tiger Mountain to train the Thunderblade Technique. His eyes gleamed with resolve. The Dragon Tiger Mountain range lay north of Linsui City, named after legends of roars that sounded like dragons and tigers. Though the stories were unverified, the region was teeming with wild beasts perfect for honing martial skills. Before awakening his martial spirit, Tian Nan had often trained there under the protection of family guards. It was during one such trip, struck by lightning, that he awakened the war god spirit. But this time, he had no idea that his journey to the Dragon Tiger Mountains would lead to a fateful encounter with someone he never expected to meet.